Alright, thank you all for being here today. A new scandal has arisen in college sports. It is not steroid or drugs, but it is just as dangerous to the integrity of sportsmanship. The problem is universities paying athletes to play. This practice is currently illegal, but many people are now pushing for its legalization. Players like Reggie Bush and Johnny Manziel have been exploited and reported in the news for accepting bribes and other payments from the colleges. This affects everyone because its impact will alter the traditions of college sports forever. The purpose of my speech is to convince you that paying college football athletes is a terrible idea and would negatively affect the sport. Throughout the course of my speech, I will discuss the 3 reasons why college football players should not be paid. If universities paid college athletes, it would make the inequality between large and small universities even bigger. It would make the sport materialistic and take away from the college traditions and loyalty of the teams. It would also put the priority on money rather than on the education. My first argument is that if universities paid college athletes, it would make the inequality between the small universities and the large universities even greater. ESPN published a 2008 index of college athletics revenues, compiled from information submitted to the NCAA. In 2008, the top Division I revenue-earning college was Alabama, with an estimated $123 million. The least-earning college raked in just $8 million, with the average being about $40 million. The problem is that the top 25 colleges controlled almost 80% of the revenue of the 120 schools. If the best players were paid and chose colleges based on their purchasing power, then the smaller athletic programs would lose all their competitive edge and their talent to schools with more money. Some people would argue that a divide is already naturally occurring in between the big and small schools and nothing would really change. They could point to the fact that the last 10 national championships have been won by schools that have a medium to large revenue. While this is true, there are many of competitive small colleges that would take a huge blow if playing players became legal. Schools like TCU, Boise State, and Notre Dame would lose their competitive edge. My second argument is that the traditions and integrity of college football would be weakened if college athletes were to be paid. Greg Doyle writes in a June 2011 article for CBS Sports about why college football is better than NFL. Because, you see, it's not about the game in the NFL. It's about the money. Your money and how the owners are going to divvy it up between the players. In college football, there are no such concerns. Proponents to paying players would say the NFL is more popular than college football. In fact, the NFL has been the most popular sport in America for 30 straight years, so maybe college football could become more like the NFL. However, I think that making college football more like the NFL would lessen the appeal of both sports. College football and the NFL have some unique differences. College football is about school loyalty and player development, while the NFL is about personalities and paychecks. The last reason I have for not paying college athletes is it will take the priority off their education and harm them in the long run. In a report released by the NCAA in 2012, it was revealed that only 1.7% of college football players would go play professionally. The reality is that most athletes will have to get real jobs one day. Their college choice should be based on education rather than short-term money. Paying college players is like workman's comp, some proponents of paying athletes would say. If they get injured, at least they'll have made some money in college. They point to the fact that many star athletes get injured in college and never end up getting to play, and they should at least get some money in college. I would argue, however, that paying athletes in college would be a temporary fix. If athletes just go after the quick paycheck, they'll be putting their education and future at risk. Many poor athletes get scholarships to schools like Penn State, Duke, and Maryland that they wouldn't be able to afford otherwise, and this allows them to succeed later in life. Throughout my speech, I've been trying to convince you that paying college football athletes is a terrible idea. As I mentioned, it would be negative for the smaller colleges, the sport, and even the college athletes. As the paying college athlete debates get hotter, I hope that I have convinced you that the cons of such a plan would outweigh the benefits. I want to leave you all today with a quote by Paul Bear Bryant. He said, "The appeal of college football is rooted in the simple notion that your team represents you, your state, your alma mater, and your youth. The NFL represents what exactly? A bunch of 25-year-old millionaires who will dump your town the minute their agent secures a better offer. There is no loyalty in NFL. College football is all about loyalty." Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Right.
I'm convinced.